lust can be positive and negative. Also, another way of using it is your goals. You can lust over your goals, which is positive. But if you are lazy, like some people, not naming people, but Nasir, you will not want to lust over your goals because you're lazy. You don't want to do them. Instead, you want to stay in your bed and go to sleep. Thank you.
Next is ease. I think you're up. Do you have a job?
I'm the grammarian.
Oh no. You get it. You don't have a job. You're up. E-A-S-E.
Okay. E? My name is Jake. Okay, so ease. It's spelled E-A-S-E. Or, that's forwards. Backwards, it's E-S-A-E. It's a lot of times when we're looking for our first jobs or in life, we're looking for ease. We're looking for something that's easy. You want something that's not going to be too challenging. You want to chill. I believe in the opposite. I believe you should stretch yourself and try to put yourself not at ease by challenging yourself. That's circular logic right there. But basically, I think challenging yourself is important because it allows you to grow as a person. And when you grow, you can do things, you can reach your potential that you couldn't have reached if you took things easy. Easy. It's spelled E-A-S. And, okay.
Okay, I believe everybody else technically has jobs, so I can either start over at the beginning,
No,
pick
you
people
can-
who have jobs, or just go for it.
You can pick people that have jobs.
Pick anyone.
So, wait, do you have the agenda in front of you? You can go up the list.
I can go up the list.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going up the list of people who have jobs. All right, next is fear. And
You can just pick me.
all right,
Oh.
Fear. Something I fear? Okay, bugs, 1. But 2, I'm super scared of like getting sick of something that the CDC is gonna do to us. Okay, we've had this conversation. Listen here. Alright, the CDC has super bugs, guys. They can kill you in like literally like 12 minutes. They can just like spray you with some anthrax. You don't know. You don't know. They can literally put it in your mail. You wouldn't know. They could be performing tests on you right now. There's a kid in the front row right there who has a sickness. No one knows what it is. So if you need hand sanitizer, you can hit me up after this. I'm being so serious. His legs were like not working for 2 days. Then he was like, you know what? This is fine. I'm just going to come to a Toastmasters meeting. In fact, everyone, not go into quarantine. This is fine. And you know what? I'm scared of him. Don't stand near me. Don't shake my hand. I'm serious. Okay? Because listen guys, I'm totally serious. I'm going into epidemiology, the study of the spread of disease. Did you just cough? You were all disgusting. I'm scared.
Alright guys, next topic is affectionate. And I suppose we will go to Vivyen.
So ever since I was born, I wanted to have a pet dog. But that never happened, so my parents always got me like hamsters or birds or iguanas or toads or frogs. Literally any other pet in the world. And so I just wanted a real pet, something viable. And finally, 2 years ago, my dad sent me a picture of a kitten. He texted, "Hey, we just got a cat, name him." So I called my mom and I asked her, "Is this real? Is this for real? Are we serious about this?" And she said, "Yeah, we have chipmunks in the backyard. Your dad doesn't like it." Your dad doesn't like them messing up the lawn, so we got a cat. And I came home so fast that weekend from college, and I embraced this cat. I didn't really because it wasn't used to me, so it was afraid of me. But I tried to adapt to it, so I laid on the floor, got on eye level with it. I was so desperate to touch this kitty. And so I just spent so many hours on that floor trying to get it to get used to me, to like me. And then the first time it swiped me, my heart was warm.
Alright, next we have hurt. And Isaac, I can go call on you.
Hurt.
Hurt.
I can't stand actually, because legs are messed up.
Oh my gosh. That's why we have the chair.
Isaac, you can take a seat.
I'm not sick. But I'll talk about my sickness. Okay, so hurt. Something that really hurt this week was a sickness. It started out as a small little pain in the small of my back, and then it slowly spread all throughout my body until it got to my legs. And then when I was in class, I noticed, I can't get out of my seat. And so I just kind of was in a little panic, and I was just like, excuse me, miss, I can't move. She's like, what? What's wrong? She's like, I don't know. And so I went back home with a random stranger. I don't know who it was. I don't even remember their name. And because I was so out of it. And what? Okay. And then the disease evolved and changed. The next day, my legs were working, but I had an extremely bad, swelled up throat, and I couldn't even speak, really, and it hurt extremely bad. And then I got really bad headaches and couldn't really see that well, and then it went away. So.
Oh, no one concerned about
And the doctors don't know what I went to the doctors, they tested for a bunch of things, wasted a whole lot of money, and they don't know what it was.
Guys! You're dying! I studied polio as a lesson.
That's what I said. It sounds like polio.
Are your vaccines up to date? I'm just
I dare you to give me polio. I dare you.
Yo, I actually have a sore throat, so you're kind of sore.
Did I scare you?
I dare you to give me polio.
So next we have Joy.
Oh.
Let's see. Tyler, I haven't called on you. You?
Hi. September 28th, 2018. This is a day I mark in my calendar every single year. The one day I can feel joy for the entire year, September 28th. Does anyone know why September 28th is so special?
Something up for manly?
No, but it's very similar. Very similarly related. There's this video game that comes out every single year called FIFA. FIFA 19 was the latest iteration. And I can only find joy on the first day when this game comes out. After that, it's just a downhill ride from there. Every day after September 28th, it's just, man, I hope the next one's better, but I'll keep playing. And then you just keep playing every single day, hoping to get that same joy you got on September 28th at midnight. And every day, it's like, no. EA has those bugs. They have that cheese. They have all these things in the game that are just wrong, that you think, oh, it's been 7 years. I thought they would have fixed it by now. But no. But joy. September 28th. Thank you.
rattling down on people. next is bitterness. Can I call him the timekeeper? Can I call him her last?
You can, technically.
All right, let's
Yes.
I don't have any shoes.
What was the word? Bitterness. Bitterness.
Okay. Well, see, now I'm a little bitter with him.
Oh my God, don't
He come. What? I heard top hat and I immediately. I thought about accounting, so no. But yeah, that makes me bitter too. Let's see. Like Nasir said, bitterness is also a word in the dictionary. I'm not going to spell it out because I'll probably spell it out wrong because I'm nervous. Is it time yet? No? Okay, bitterness. Yeah. I don't even know. I can't think if it's a noun, verb, or whatever. What?
Dark chocolate is bitter.
Dark chocolate. Yeah, I don't like dark chocolate.
Do you like coffee?
I do like, well, coffee. We have a different definition of coffee. See, my coffee is like Starbucks vanilla chai latte, but his coffee is like no sugar, completely bitter coffee. So, is it time? It's time!
Alright, so I believe the only ones we have left are the grammarian and the two speech givers. Is there anybody else who has not spoken? He's a grammarian.
Yeah, I'm talking.
You were the grammarian. You spoke.
You can call him Ben.
Alright, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. That's the order you're going in, and that will be the end of what we have. Your word is powerful.
Powerful. P-O-W-R-F-U-L. I'd say the time I felt most powerful was in high school during NJROTC when I was doing my push-ups and sit-ups and running. I was always the female that had the max push-ups, always the female that had the max sit-ups, always the female that ran the fastest. I felt powerful. I felt like the strongest girl in the world. And then I started getting lazy senior year. Senior-itis, guys. I stopped exercising. I stopped doing my sets. And then my grades started going lower as well with the combination of that. I started getting lazy. I stopped feeling powerful. P-O-W-E-R-F-U-L. But it's coming back in college. Yeah.
Alright, Tricia, I believe you are up and you have vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Vulnerable. Sometimes the times where I feel most vulnerable is when I'm sharing my family story. So I'm Filipino, from the Philippines, was born there. But my parents, they were the ones who immigrated from the Philippines to the United States. And out of all of our extended family, it was only them who made it here in the United States. And when we visit back to the Philippines, all my extended relatives, they're all in the same house where my parents grew up in the same rooms, in the same area of the Philippines, and knowing the struggles that they went through from living in that kind of environment and overcoming that. And for them to open up to my younger sibling and I, it just, number one, it gives me, I admire them for doing that, but at the same time, I feel vulnerable because it's part of my family history. And sharing that, I don't share that with too many people, but yeah, vulnerable.
Alright, you sir are last and you've got happiness.
Ooh.
So, happiness. Age? No, I'm not kidding. So, happiness, or in other words, you could be ebullient. You're very happy. So, I guess I'll think of a time I was super happy recently. I was really happy when playing, I was playing some soccer with some friends, and I scored my first goal, which was amazing. So, I had never done that before, because when I played soccer in middle school, I was always put on defense, so I never got to score any goals because I would have asthma attacks, which was not fun. So they put me in the back, which was not happy or ebullient. So, but yeah, getting that final vindication after years and years of, like, I played for elementary school, middle school, a little bit in high school, and never scored a goal, but I finally got it fairly recently. So, yeah, that made me very happy.
Thank you, everyone. So I guess I give it back to Nadia. Yeah. Excellent. Well, great. This is the time to fill out your things. Yes. Okay, guys. So I'm going to give you a minute to fill out your ballots. Do I just keep talking while they do that? Yeah.
You can.
Okay,
or
so I'm going to keep talking about this, guys. I would like you to know that I have never been happy, or I will never be happy again. Now that we're all vulnerable to Isaac's freaking powerful disease, I will forever be better unless I'm hurt to the point that I die. We can never know joy again. We're gonna die. We skip it. It's over. It's gone. I'm sorry. Everyone fill out their ballots?
Not everyone voted for themselves.
I mean,
14-way
there are
tie.
people, so you don't really have to make people vote for in the first place. But it's been fun. I think this was a really good meeting. We got really personal. It was very productive.
Was it?
Everything was very formal. Ebullient is my favorite word. I use it every day. People make fun of me for it, so I feel like I can't use it. I can't explain myself. Just be like that. I hate to see it. All right, so our next thing is let's get reports. Yeah. Okay, our grammarian, Isaac Jacobson, who's doomed us all. What would you like to say?
Okay, so Adanna, you said I got you, but I know it was intentional. And you said I hadn't, but you corrected yourself, which I noticed. And Tricia, sorry, how do you pronounce your name? Tricia, I'm really sorry.
Okay.
I couldn't tell when your sentences ended and started, kind of, because you said "and" a lot when you started them, so I didn't know if you were continuing on it or just ending them. And Tyler, you said "meeting" 5 times in one sentence. Hali, all good. Vivyen, you said so much hours, which kind of sounded kind of weird. Zack, all good. Nasir, all good. All good. There wasn't that many errors. People did really good.
Yeah, best meeting of the year, guys! Yes. All right. Next, we got our R counter. Ben, let's go.
Okay. So Adanna had three R's. Tricia had 0. Bono had 0. Zack had 1. Adanna had 0. Nasir had 3. Jake had 1. Nadia, you had 1. Vivyen had 0. Isaac had 3. Tyler had 0. Elizabeth had 4. Adanna had 0. Tricia had 0. And I counted myself. I had 1.
Very honest.
Yes.
Very good. Multitasking. You got it. All right. Elizabeth, was everyone in time?
Yes, and we're gonna forget those 4 seconds.
All right. Generous. Thank you. All right, and now we got our evaluators. Zach, you're first, evaluating Adanna. Yes? Nope. Next, we got our president, Tyler Chan.
Thank you. All right. I am the general evaluator for this meeting, so I'll be the one leading this reporting. We're a little bit out of order, but it's all good. We'll go back to preparing for an all-counter for the evaluators.
Clear.
No, you're good. Okay, so now this is where we get to learn what we can improve on, what we do well on. So, without further ado, we'll go into our evaluators for our speeches. So our first evaluator is Vivyen. She'll be evaluating Adanna's speech.
Overall, I thought your speech was very good, especially for an icebreaker. I wouldn't have thought that you were nervous at all, which is what you said you were last week. So I thought that was just awesome, and the fact that you had your journal prop, how you actually held it up, read from it, but you weren't attached or stuck to it. You looked up and you were able to project as you were telling about your first journal entry. I also love the gestures that you made with your hands as you're talking about how rowing works, how the current moved, how you got stuck on a crab, all of that, and all of the energy that you put into your story. You also had very good overall body movement, such as when you said something let you down. I saw that you slouched with it, and you really put your entire being into your speech. I like the cute humor that you put about the crab and how it's not about Sebastian, it's the actual rowing term. And again, with your body movements, you said you shifted your perspective, and I saw you shift your body. I thought that really added onto it. You also did a great job with your pausing, how you said that quote, "What you do in your future is a reflection from what you learned from your mistakes." You really emphasize that by taking time with that quote. And overall, you had good vocal variety, but it might have been a bit subdued, where even though you got hyped and excited about you're like, dang it, the crab, all that stuff, you were a little soft-spoken about it, so I think you could totally project more to really emphasize the highs and the lows of all the points in your speech. And there were some points when I was a little confused. So when you were recapping how the meet went, and you said that you were smiling that your other teammates won, but there were disappointing times because you thought about how you failed in terms of getting stuck on the crab, but you were also smiling sometimes during that. So I wasn't sure if that was a reflection of how you felt that you were conflicted during the judging and all of that of the composition, or if you're just a smiley person and that just came through your speech a lot. So I think you can be more dramatic with your vocal variety to emphasize your points and be more intentional about your facial motion. But overall, that was a very good speech.
All right, awesome. And then for our final evaluator, we have Zach? Okay, Zach as our final evaluator. Oh yeah, I forgot we jumped Nasir. I was like, we changed the order. Oh, that's all good. All right, so now we have Zach evaluating Tricia's speech.
All right. So I want to thank both of you speakers. Both of you did an amazing job as your first speech. Honestly, if you guys told me that you were on your fourth or even your 10th speech, I would believe you. You guys had amazing vocal variety, and you were prepared. I want to tell a story before I really get into my evaluation. My first icebreaker, my first speech, this was 2014. I came to the meeting, had an amazing speech planned out, to the T, and word for word, everything. And I had this big scene where I was going to take a marker, and I would write 3 huge letters. And that would be the setup. But I didn't have a marker. And no one else did either. So I had to ask the Toastmaster, hey, can you move me from the first speaker to after the evaluations so I can go to Walmart, buy a marker, come back, and then give my speech? Because that'll be great. Hey, please do that. On the other hand, you guys, especially Tricia, you had a PowerPoint set up. You had all these intricate things with your speech that I wouldn't even have thought of. The fact that you had these hand motions throughout the speech, like when she said breathing, she brought her hands in, breathed in, and then released. Intricate stuff like that. There's a point where it seems like the speaker is miming the entire thing. We're playing a huge game of charades with the speaker, where it's like, oh, all of a sudden, oh, the entire audience is deaf, and I need to figure out what they're trying to say just on hand motions. You didn't do that, and that's an amazing feat. You brought in the imagery with your body expression, and then held our attention when giving your speech. The one thing that I could critique you on is when you want to give a speech on this, you want to stay in